Must not have liked the recruiting class.
Materials that we were given.
Can I answer any questions, please?
This is closer to a scrum.
This is a scrum. I like it, yes, and this makes me feel taller, too.
There's a podium involved.
What's that?
There's a podium involved now.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I guess we'll open for some questions. Let's go right into questions. I think I've talked enough for the last few weeks, so I'm ready to answer some questions that you have.
There's some news this morning about Big Ten moving your game to Friday night. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think there's been talk from the Big Ten about moving multiple games at times for Friday night football. There's always reasons to be able to do that. There's a lot of reasons that people would pick to be able to do that, but if we're picked to do it, we'll look forward to it. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. You always look at high school football on Friday, college football on Saturday, and NFL football on Sunday in terms of traditional. But, I was a head coach in the MAC, played in the MAC, and we played any day of the week we could, right? And I think it's healthy to be able to get viewers to look on Friday nights and to put the Big Ten on different days at times. And I think that can be healthy for audiences. I think for him, I think you've seen the completion percentage, the accuracy, anticipation. It's one thing to be able to throw the ball to who's open, but it's the timing of when that ball should come out. And then the accuracy and the type of ball. Is it a 3 ball? Is it a 2 ball? Is it a 1 ball, 1.5? What kind of ball does it need to be? And I think he's made the biggest adjustments that way in terms of understanding the concepts, understanding the system, but then in the individual routes when he's throwing them, 1, he throws people open, and 2, he's been able to shape the ball accordingly. And he's made the appropriate throw, if that makes sense. The word appropriate can have a lot of meaning, but appropriate meaning not just to the right person, but what type of ball he's going to throw to that person.
Will Zach be able to play in the bowl game at all?
We're not going to play him in the bowl game, no. For a lot of different reasons on the back end of his future and career, he's just not ready yet. Got some screws out, but we're not going to force him to do that at all.
We've seen coaches take different approaches with ball games, put in new wrinkles, be ultra aggressive. Kind of what's your philosophy in coaching the ball game and how you prepare for it?
Well, there's different philosophies that all people have. For me, the first week we take off. No matter what, we're going to have a whole week off where everybody can just decompress a little bit. It's a long year, get healthy, focus on their academics, get ready for finals. The next week is really Minnesota versus Minnesota. That next 3 to 4 practices is true spring ballish. And most of it's done by the young guys. You can gain 4 spring ball practices in that week. Tyler Johnson, Rashad Bateman practiced, but they didn't do a lot. So they get about a week and a half off, right? And then because the amount of workload they have in that second week isn't very high. Then you get into the third week, then it's all the opponent, which is what this week was. You gain a whole week, like a bye week. Then you get a little bit of a break, right, which we're going to give them a little bit of break, 4 days off here for the holiday season, and bring them back, and they're back on Christmas. And then we leave as a team on the 26th. And then once we get out to the bowl site, we'll practice the day of the bowl site. It'll be a review of everything. We'll have a walkthrough the next day, and then we get into our Tuesday practice normal schedule. So that's how I've always handled it. You get about 11 to 12 practices total towards the end, which is almost a whole spring ball. And so you're gaining that. That's how important when people talk about going to a bowl game is not just where you go and for your fans and everybody else. It's those practices for the younger guys, leading them up into spring ball.
On top of that, 11 wins with a win over SEC team would shape this season in a way that maybe people nationally would look at it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've gained the attention nationally from a lot of people with the 10-win season. Anytime you do something that hasn't been done since 1904, 1905, or the first time you've done it in 137 years with 7 conference wins, I think you shake it up as it is. But every time you shake it up, you create a new expectation, right? And that's fun to do. And that's what everybody's done in the Twin City area, which we really want people to do, set a new expectation. But we're playing a team's had 4 straight top 10 recruiting classes. They've had, I think, a top 5 class yesterday. They're very talented. We're talented. They're talented. We both have a lot of time to prepare for each other. I think it's just going to be a great matchup. A lot of you always ask me prior to the season, Coach, what's the amount of wins that you would consider a success? All right, this season's been successful, not because of the 10 wins. As we talked about, did we get everything out of our players? Do they have peace that they did everything they possibly could do to be the best they could be? Did they change their best every day, academically, athletically, socially, spiritually? And this group did. They're successful no matter what happens. And I would have said that, halfway through the year, just in general in terms of how successful this team's been able to, or what they've been able to do, and other accomplishments they've had.
With Kamal's news that he's
Yeah, as of right now, yes. But Kamal, had a tough decision to make in the last game with his knee. Needed to get some things fixed and needed to clean some stuff up. And he made a tough decision, but that decision's got to be made, and I support him 100%. And I want what's best for Kamal. And when you sit down with these young people, and you talk to a lot of your seniors who play in the senior bowls and going on to do those things, you have conversations with them. With Kamal, it was completely different. Just because he was going to possibly miss the bowl game anyway because of his injury and the time frame. If he could get the surgery a lot faster, it's going to help him be able to play in those things, get to the combine healthy, get to pro day healthy. And at this point, he's given so much to our program, and we support him 100%.
Have you talked more to Antoine about his decision maybe to leave early for the NFL?
Yeah, I think I've talked to Antoine every day. The good thing is we're getting a lot of factual information back from the National Football League, which I give Antoine, his dad, his mom, a lot of credit for going through the right protocols to see what's the best option for them. As a head football coach, of course you always want a young man like that to play for you again, but is that the best thing for him moving forward? Because at this point in his career, what he's done for the University of Minnesota, what their family's done for the University of Minnesota, he deserves to be able to pick what's best for him, right? And we all know in the National Football League, that first contract is everything, right? I mean, 80% of the players in the National Football League really never even make it to the second contract. So that first one's everything, right? And so we've got to be able to position him the best way we possibly can to be able to get on the best team he can, be drafted as high as he possibly can. And if that means he has to come out now, we support him 100%. If it means that he stays, we support him 100%. Of course, I'd always love to see him come back. But if the data comes back and says he's a first, second rounder, go. Go. But that's why the NFL does that. If it says first, second round, come out. If it says stay in school, they mean stay in school for a reason. And, we'll find that out here very shortly.
PJ, your thoughts on him being named consensus All-American earlier this week, and just kind of what has he done for your team this year with a full 12 games of being healthy?
Yeah, I think that's one of 7. Is that right?
It's our 7th ever.
Yeah, 7th ever. And when you're one of 7 of a program that's had unbelievable history over 137 years, I think that speaks volumes to what Antoine Winfield Jr. is like and who he is and the type of player he is, the bloodlines he has from his father. He's a special young man. I mean, there's so many adjectives and words you could describe him, but he's the ultimate competitor. He's the ultimate person, and he's just the ultimate football player. And he's made us better. But when you're a consensus All-American, that means everybody picked you to be that way. That means you left no doubt. There is no doubt you're one of the best safeties in the entire country, and it's easy to see.
In the shadow of signing day, go back into last year, we talked a lot about Rashad Cheney. Could you kind of update his development?
He's progressing tremendously. I mean, one thing that's helped us throughout the year is our scout team's getting better and better and better, and that scout team's full of guys who are going to play for us next year. Right? I mean, whether that's D'Angelo Carter, Trill, whether that's Rashad Cheney, you look at MJ Anderson. I mean, these guys are getting better and better and better. So, he had his redshirt year. Now he's going to be ready to roll here in a few days, and then it becomes the next year, and then he's ready to roll.
With Jim Canagos going to Rutgers, is the interim plan is like Rossi kind of taking over that D-line?
No, we'll just like anything. I mean, we're gonna lose coaches here. We are, and I support that 100%. If they can make their lives better, Jim's mom and dad are very sick, and he's from that area, and it was a very tough conversation with him and I, just because I know he really loves it here, but he's got to make decisions for his family, and we support him 100% and wish him all the best. He did a lot of things for us, but no, we've already opened up a search, and I'll be interviewing a lot of people at the convention here coming up. There might be more. You just never know, and I think that's what's really, I say to my staff all the time, I'd love for you to be with me forever, but realistically, what you've helped me create my dream. I get to live my dream. I am living proof of I'm living my dream. If I can help you go create your dream, that's my job as a head coach, not selfishly just make you keep wanting my dream to come true and more dream for me. I want dreams for you. So, there's two types of people that help other people's dreams come true, and then there's the people that dreams come true for. So you fit in one of those categories. And I want all of our guys to have their dream come true and then pay that forward. But, that's why you see so many coaches around the country leaving, moving up, going different places. I think it's healthy. There's a lot more work involved because you're teaching, you're going back over and teaching. But I think as long as you have your coordinators in place, when you go from season to season, you can do a lot of things depending on who's in there.
You have one or two more for Coach?
What's just the general anticipation level of the team to be going down to Florida and getting to face Auburn?
Yeah, this is our last practice, and I think everybody's ready for a break. I can't imagine. I can't begin to describe what the last 3 weeks were like. When my wife tells me, "All right, honey, you're a little delirious right now. We got to get you some rest," and I'm like, "No, I don't," as you like twitch, because your lack of sleep. But I think everybody's ready for a break. We've had tremendous practices. They've worked really hard. We've gotten better over this course of this last few weeks. Everybody's done with finals. We got a lot of graduates, which is really exciting. But I think everybody kind of looks outside, steps outside, and just can't wait to get down to Tampa. I think that makes it very easy when you know where you're going. And our guys we gave them the option to bring their own swim trunks. So, as long as they were appropriate. We have some people from other countries at times, so we'll see what they bring. But they're very excited. So that's the anticipation level. One, playing Auburn, but there's a lot of fun things to do before we play in that game. And I think that's what they've earned. They've earned the right to have a lot of fun, enjoy one of the best bowl games in the country at the Outback Bowl, and play one of the best opponents in the country.
There are quite a few examples of Tanner showing himself to be a good teammate to the guys around him. What's an example or kind of a show of when he's done that?
I don't know if you can even name one, Andy, that one is greater than the other. He's consistent, consistent, maybe one of the best teammates I've ever seen be a teammate to his team. I mean, he elevates everybody. It doesn't matter who they are. And that's the one thing I love about him is that the example of our program and our culture is every single day with Tanner Morgan, on the field and off the field. And it's hard to find people that consistent because he's a human being as well. He's got ups, he's got downs, he's got issues, he's got problems, he's got situations, he's got things that come up. But the way he handles them represents our culture in a first-class fashion and really handles it as a very, very mature leader as a young person, as a kid moving into adulthood. But there's so many examples of that. I think, his faith is really important to him. I think that he's a young man who has no problem talking about his faith, and I think that takes a lot of courage for young people in today's society where everybody's judged based on what you believe, no matter what it is, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's sports. We all judge. It's all judge. And he's kind of a he's kind of a judge-free zone person. He doesn't judge anybody. And I think that's what makes him such a powerful person, is because he can take anybody and bring them in from wherever they're from and somehow relate to them and then gravitate their life.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep, row the boat, Sky Mile, go Gophers. See you in Tampa. All right.